many people were. There were a bunch of my colleagues wearing bulletproof vests at the inauguration, despite the fact we were surrounded by like 15,000 soldiers. It's wouldn't be fair to point to the 200 other Republicans in the House and say they're all dangerous. And most of them are. I may disagree with some of them politically, but they're good people. But there are a couple of nuts who've come in there with this QAnon theory, as you talked about in your opening, threatening to execute people. It's when those are trying to bring guns onto the House floor that we really get concerned.
Yeah, that seems to me, even in the context of just a regular workplace, you would be particularly concerned if you found out a colleague of yours had liked a post that someone else put up saying that you should be executed, or people that were in your particular group should be executed. I would report that to HR, and I'm like, is there a congressional HR that you can go to report some of your colleagues? I suppose that's what ethics is for. Are you actively trying to avoid them in the hallways? If you see Marjorie Taylor Greene or Lauren Boebert walking one way, do you walk the other way out of fear for your personal safety?
Well, I'm not seeking out their attention, that's for sure. It's been really concerning, Zerlina, to see grown members of Congress arguing they can bring their guns onto the House floor. These are the same Capitol Police who, so many of them, risked their lives just recently to make sure that we were all safe. And it's been, discouraging and embarrassing. And I know our leadership is trying to make sure that there are severe penalties for bringing guns into the House chamber. And they complain about it, but children have to go through metal detectors to go to schools. You can't go into often football or baseball stadiums without going through a magnetometer. Certainly can't get on an airplane. You shouldn't be able to be in the people's house with pack and heat. That we were all safe. And it's been, discouraging and embarrassing. And I know our leadership is trying to make sure that there are severe penalties for bringing guns into the House chamber. And they complain about it, but children have to go through metal detectors to go to schools. You can't go into often football or baseball stadiums without going through a magnetometer. Certainly can't get on an airplane. You shouldn't be able to be in the people's house with pack and heat.
With the new changes that have been made on Robinhood and Charles Schwab and TD Ameritrade and a bunch of others, there are those now calling for some sort of investigation to see what was done, what kind of information we don't have access to, money possibly changing hands. There was a great tweet from Rashida Tlaib saying, "This is beyond absurd. The Dems need to have a hearing on Robinhood's market manipulation. They're blocking the ability to trade to protect Wall Street hedge funds, stealing millions of dollars from their users to protect people who've used the stock market as a casino for decades," which is 100% what they're doing. Ben Shapiro is all whiny that people are talking about these being casinos, but that's what they are. These hedge funds are literally betting. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez added on saying, "This is unacceptable. We now need to know more about Robinhood app's decision to block retail investors from purchasing stock while hedge funds are freely able to trade the stock as they see fit. As a member of the Financial Services Committee, I'd support a hearing if necessary." And I saw that Ro Khanna agreed to that. So I don't know about you, Ben. I personally would love to see Katie Porter with a whiteboard talking to the leadership of Robinhood and getting to the bottom of this.
Right. I think this speaks really, it's really important to take in consideration the importance of this moment because it speaks to the political nature of software, the political nature of these apps. These are not just benign or passive things that are on your phone. These are political ideologies, philosophies, capitalism. They are deeply rooted. So the software that we download, we really have to take in consideration the political implications. So I'm looking forward to the investigations.
Exactly. And I expect that there's probably going to be there's a good number of representatives who actually will have the right position on this. It's also like people have gotten worked up about it. So there's going to be opportunists who are going to pretend that they give a damn about this. Right. And one of those opportunists has already popped up. So that AOC tweet calling for an investigation, Ted Cruz retweeted it with "fully agree," pointing down to it. To which AOC responded, "I am happy to work with Republicans on this issue where there's common ground, but you almost had me murdered 3 weeks ago, so you can sit this one out. Happy to work with almost any other GOP that aren't trying to get me killed. In the meantime, if you want to help, you can resign." Yes. I feel like that shot from The Shining.
Oh my.
Yes, more.
He wasn't ready. He wasn't ready.
No, because he ain't good at this.
He's not, and he needs to understand fools that jump off get smacked down. I'm sorry, that was the Pompano Beach coming out of me. Sorry about that. But no, seriously, AOC is not one to play with, right? And the reality of it is like, even if they are on the right side of this Robinhood app issue, which I doubt they will be, I think it's going to be a fascinating opportunity for any of the libertarian-esque side of the gamer community to see very transparently just how much Republicans would be opposed to them in this type of example of pulling out government regulations. But I digress. The point is, don't play with AOC. You're not ready to take it.
Exactly. And the right loves to pretend that they're in favor of regulation of Wall Street. Like even Trump during the 2016 campaign, he was like, "I'm going to get rid of their like tax loopholes and I'm going to crack down on them." He would always use this particular type of investor thing as proof that he's okay taxing the rich. Like that was the only part of it that had to do with the rich, but he would always point to that. By the way, they didn't do it. It was all a lie. The populist right doesn't actually exist. It's a scam. You need to be able to see past it. But he was at least savvy enough to know he needed to pretend. Ted Cruz is trying to do the same thing. He just ain't as good at it.
It's not as good. And they also have
Stuck in a rut? Go with the crossover that always runs.